Welcome to the Adventures of Los Angeles. My name is Rich Mayfield, number 1211. I'm joined tonight by Mark Angelos. Thank you for joining us, a good friend of mine. So Mark, you're here to talk to us tonight about your family vacation to Africa.
I am. Thanks for having me. Just as COVID was hitting, we was in May of 2020, I would look at flight prices to Africa, and it was $500. And I said, you know, I want to take my children, who are going to join me in a minute here, to Africa, and I want them to experience Africa experience the animals through the eyes of a child, right? Things are a little more special sometimes when you're young like that. And so I bought bought for family 4 tickets for $500. Said, hey, we're going to Africa. And COVID will hopefully have worked to sort itself out by then. So after multiple delays and changes, and eventually we got there. And I took them to Cape Town, Victoria Falls, and the garden route from Port Elizabeth to Cape Town. The majority were places I'd been before. I felt it'd be safe to take my family there. And yeah, that was it. I wanted to take my children to Africa as children.
So you had already been to Africa at this point, though?
Had you already
been to all these places that you're about to take your family?
The majority, yes.
Okay. So just that's it? Cheap plane ticket? And let's go?
You know, y'all have a list, right? Of places you'd like to go yourself or take your family.
For sure.
And you kind of, you track, and maybe this is the year, maybe the ski trip to the Alps, maybe they're not quite strong enough yet. Let's wait a couple of years. And this one just hit. I was like, let's go. The wife and I could get the time off. You know, there's a financial commitment, there's a time commitment, and I was like, yeah, let's hit it. So
what is that like, putting together logistics of bringing a whole family on a trip? Because lots of the adventurers here, I think, lone wolf types. so we can go, we take off, but now you have a family, and you got to think about that. So how does that work out?
Well, I think, other than Antarctica, we'd already been to all the continents.
Oh, wow.
So we're used to that kind of thing. And there wasn't as much rallying the troops. There's 5 points of failure on this trip. COVID test, getting the rental car from Zambia into Zimbabwe, COVID test, right? So at any one of those times, things could have gotten sideways and been blown up. And it was just, we were prepared to take financial hit, and then, okay, we're not going to be able to make the flight from South Africa to, from Cape Town to Victoria Falls Airport because maybe the flight's canceled. We didn't get the COVID test results. We couldn't find a COVID test. One of us didn't pass. You know, there was a whole number of points of failure where we're just going to have to wing it and find something else to do, right? And it would have still been a great trip, and we were just ready to, blow off $5,000. It didn't sort out, and then it was really difficult to get a rental car. So I get a hold of folks that had a rental car in Victoria Falls, and they sold most of their 4x4 fleet. And to get a car to come up from South Africa was kind of cost prohibitive. So I found a place that they were going to bring it over from Zambia, but the borders closed between Zambia and Zimbabwe other than special circumstances. And of course, it worked out, but I had to, help things along at the border.
So how did you get the car across? You just help things along?
Yeah, help things along at the border, yeah. I mean, they had me inside the customs agency going back and forth, getting to know all the guys. And I had to pay for some sort of special cargo insurance, and it had to work out as a commercial vehicle, and I had to drive it. The individual couldn't drive it across. It was supposed to be delivered to our hotel, of course. And it worked out.
So you started a business in Africa?
Yeah, well, yeah.
So where was your family during all this?
They were at the Overlook Cafe. There's the bridge. There's the Zambezi below you right here. There's the bridge. There's downstream of Zambezi. There's, whatever foofy drink you have.
Right.
And they were relaxed, having a nice time.
So you guys had a good time while your dad was dealing with all. Let's back it up a little bit. Look, where did you fly into in Africa? Where did you start this trip?
So we flew into Cape Town. A week in Cape Town, a week in Victoria Falls, and a week going from Port Elizabeth back to Cape Town. That was the structure.
And you were driving yourself the whole way. Did you have a guide at any point in time?
No. No, we usually don't do that. You know, we do enough research that we can do it on our own. That's part of the joy, like getting the 4x4 in Africa and being able to go through the game reserve on our own is you know, it's a little more intimate that way.
So tell me about Cape Town. First leg of the journey.
Well, can I bring up one of the little ones?
Absolutely.
Come on.
While you're doing that, let me see if I can fix the screen up.
So I wanted for y'all to kind of see the trip through the eyes of my children, right? And so, Valerie, we have a list of things we wanted to go over, and can they run the seal snorkeling video?
Video number 1, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. So, Valerie, it's all yours.
One of my favorite parts of the trip was the seal snorkeling, and we did it off Duiker Island. And the good part about Duiker Island is that the water is only about 8 feet deep, so there's no sharks, because sharks, if they want to eat seals, they have to get under the seals for the element of surprise and shoot up and grab them.
Do we have this video, guys, in the back?
It's running. It's running right there. I can see. Y'all can see it, right?
Is there audio on this video?
Yeah, but we'll talk. And you
Okay.
watch that. I think the plan is you guys. You don't have to look at us. Watch the video. You'll see all the seals, and we'll add color. I think it should.
We just lost our video screen
can
here,
see
so
it.
we can't
I can see
it.
it right
You can
there,
see it?
Rich.
Okay, great.
The water was cold, and one of my favorite parts of the seal snorkeling was when you got out of the water onto the boat. They unzipped your wetsuit and poured hot water down there.
That is key. That's the best part.
And then you had your choice of coffee, hot water, or hot chocolate.
So what'd you pick?
Hot chocolate.
Not coffee? That's fun.
Keep going.
There were a lot of seals on land and in the water. And in the water, the seals' eyes are 3 times bigger than on land.
So they like squint?
No,
But when they're on land, they squint?
no, I think they just get smaller.
Ah, interesting. Keep going.
The seals on land fought a lot, and some of them were pushed into the water, and they were very loud.
Tell them about the seal trying to bite the.
Earlier in this video, there was a seal who playfully bit at the GoPro on my dad's chest.
So I had the GoPro out here, right? It was like just holding off my chest a little bit because of chest harness, and the seal came up and it was like that, hopefully you guys saw. You might have seen it happened so fast, right? And I jerked back, right? Because he had an open mouth right there where my hand was. And they do that a lot, I guess. They come, they're playful. What else do you think, Bob?
That's pretty much it.
You ever scared swimming around with all those seals?
I'm afraid of sharks, not seals. I like seals.
So around the corner from like everything you're seeing here is the same story, except for it's 50, 100 feet deep. And that's where all the shark diving happens.
Ah, interesting.
So, as the crow flies 50, 100 kilometers, it's not very far, and it's full of great whites, okay? But just because it's 10, 12 feet deep here, it's full of seals, but no sharks.
So they can't get up in there.
They can swim through, but they can't get that powerful move from below to get the surprise attack with power and get the seal.
Interesting.
So that's it's amazing. 50, 100 kilometers away. That's where they have all these boats out there dropping you in the cage to see the sharks.
Yeah.
So you'd think they would be here. So water temperature is the same. So it was quite, and they're right all around you.
You ever see any sharks?
When I was shark diving there, 20 years ago, and I did see sharks. So
But
they're
not
there.
on this trip.
No.
Yeah. That's smart. Keep the family away from the great white sharks. Good for you. Protect that family.
So, right. I want to talk a little more about Cape Town.
Yeah.
Let's have Natalie come up. Natalie, come on.
Natalie, welcome. Grab that mic.
Yeah. See. What are you going to talk about, Natalie?
Hi, my name is Natalie, for those of you who don't know. And my top part of the trip was climbing my first ever multi-pitch in Table Mountain. First off, are there any climbers here?
Yeah.
Bunch of them. Can you stop rotating back and forth? You're making me seasick. Like, continue.
Okay, so we pulled up where the tram was, and we met our guide Ross. We took the tram up to the top, and then we kind of hiked down to the spot where we were playing.
Well, let me intro. See if they can roll the number 2 video. Like it's 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Just because.
Go ahead.
I want you all to see. I have some great footage of.
Second video.
Yeah, have her go to.
We want to see the climbing videos now.
Because I want you all to be able to see the climb while we're. Yeah, there it is.
So where are you now on Table Mountain?
Yeah, there it is. All right.
This is Table Mountain, right?
Okay.
Go ahead, Natalie, take the show away.
And then we belayed
Yeah.
down, and and I couldn't really see anything because there was heavy fog. My daddy went down first, then it was me, and it was very exciting to be like in the air, fog all around you, and you can't see anything.
So you did have a fall on this climb? You slipped?
She did
No,
later,
it was just belayed.
They're on pitch 3. Tell them about pitch 3 because it's on the video now.
Oh, this is pitch 3, the traverse.
Oh my God.
So instead of normal climbing up, I had to shimmy across, walk across. And during the beginning, my dad and I were on different ropes. But during the beginning, our ropes got tangled. So I had to ask our guide for slack and stepped over my dad's rope. And then there were no other problems. But it was very fun just going across. And
When you were going across, how scared were you?
I wasn't scared at all.
Not at all.
No.
Zero fear.
How far were we?
I would have been
Dude, she was
scared.
relaxed, man. So I think she's past. If you can see it, she's past this one section where it kind of comes in like this a little bit. And if you're climbing, the guy taller than me and me, we could do this big step over like this
Right.
and kind of get wide and work across. She's not tall enough for that, so she had to come in underneath more and kind of manipulate it and hang a little bit. And she didn't make a peep about it.
Natural
she had to
climber,
use technique.
huh?
I thought there'd be a little bit of challenge there. And then, with close protection, the protection was really spaced quite close, but you could still pendulum, a little bit and take a bit of a knock. But she was calm and it was good. And
Nice.
that's Camps Bay down below. So this is facing like west, touch south. And that's, very, very wealthy, nice area right there that you can see on the screen. North of that was, like if you were to look a little bit this way, is Lion's Head, famous hike there, and Cape Town proper. Did you want to talk a little more?
No, I think that was it. Well, that was it.
Is there
Thanks for sharing. We'll do a Q&A at the end. We'll
We'll do
bring
Q&A,
everybody
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is one of the best footage we got there. And so here I am, Natalie's 13, I'm with my daughter, we're climbing together, loved our guide. It was hopefully, it was kind of a magic moment with the family moment there. So
Where's your wife in all this? Where's she hanging out? Is she
she was
belaying?
up top. No, she was up top on this one. She knows how to climb, but she and Valerie were hiking up top. So
You did some more stuff in Cape Town, right?
what else are we doing in Cape Town?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, talk about the next one.
Paragliding. You want to swap it up?
Yeah, swap it up.
While you guys are hey, Ken, can you plug in this monitor again for us? I think this monitor went off, and we'd like to see the video so we don't have to look over our shoulder. No, Ken's back there. All right, tell us what else you guys did in Cape Town.
Well, one of my other favorite things that we did was paragliding.
Lance, that's right. Sorry to interrupt you. It's going to be over there.
Gliding. See, hey, Rich, see if she can switch to the next video so everybody can see it while they. Yeah, there she
Yeah.
goes.
So here it is.
All right, Valerie.
This is you.
Take it away, bud.
That's me taking off, or well, getting set up. And you had to wear this big, heavy backpack. And I was with an expert, as you can see behind me, and he had to run down a hill. And now we're in the air, and it was a very exciting experience. I haven't had another experience like it. And a good part about it is that you go off a mountain over a city, and then there's the ocean. And my guide said that's a very unique feature of Cape Town.
Wow. So your dad was flying you the whole time. Where'd you learn how to paraglide, Mark?
No.
That was an expert behind me.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's not you, Mark?
You go up, you negotiate the price. You don't negotiate too hard on price. and then you send your kids off first with your stomach in your throat, and then you go after.
Now, both you girls have always, like I said, were you scared when you did that? And you've always said no. So I'm going to ask you a little bit different question. When were you most scared out of that whole, when you were taking off, once you were in the air, or when you were landing, when were you most scared?
Well, before when we were getting set up, I was a little jittery. And then when we were running down a hill, there's a green part covered by cloth, and we didn't get enough air, so we couldn't lift off, and he had to run through the bushes. And then landing.
But at that point, you're committed, right?
Yeah.
So you've just got to go. There's no more fear. It's just survival.
And then landing, I didn't know what to expect, so I was a little nervous.
Was it pretty smooth, the landing, or?
It was kind of bumpy, but not as bumpy as I expected.
Yeah. Was that one of your favorite things on the whole trip? Is that paragliding?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that too. And that was just over the city, so you had a really nice view.
Yeah, and we flew a little bit over the ocean, and then we landed by the ocean.
Wow.
It's neat, yeah. I mean, it's so compact there in Cape Town. You have the city, the downtown, and then you have Lion's Head and Signal Hill. You can see the bump behind there. I think you can see Lion's Head in the background behind Natalie's head.
It's that big bump right there. You just missed it. It was to the right.
Yeah, it was the pointy part. It was a great hike right there. And this you launch from right next to that thing.
It's like Adventure City, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the things that lends it to being perhaps the most popular Western tourist city in Africa.
Just all the stuff to do.
There's a lot of activity there. It's cosmopolitan, reasonably safe.
So you're staying in a nice hotel at the end of the night, but then you can get out and
Yes.
do some fun stuff.
Yeah. So this was like the adventure part of the trip. Kind of a, when I say adventure, athletic adventure. Climbing, some things that they're not necessarily unique to Africa. Although the seal snorkeling would be. But the climbing and the paragliding are, you can find those adventures other places too.
Right. You don't have to go all the way.
You don't have to go all the way to Africa.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something else?
No.
So after Cape Town, what did you guys do?
So we left Cape Town and we went up to, we flew to Victoria Falls, right? What do you think of the COVID tests, by the way? Well, just all
Which
of them,
one?
in general.
Well, we did 2 in the U.S. because the first one we didn't get our results back, and then we did a second one, and we got our results back. Then we did 1 to fly from South Africa to Victoria Falls in
Zimbabwe, yeah.
Zimbabwe, and that one tickled
I have a list.
a lot.
It tickled your brain, huh?
No, it tickled my nose, and I was sneezing. And there was 1 from Victoria Falls back to Cape Town, or Port Elizabeth, and that one was normal.
Now, where did we do that one? We did it in the big tree behind the clinic.
Yes.
That's how they do it. They like walk out to the big tree.
That's really the hospital, which is a private hospital in Victoria Falls. Yeah, out behind the big tree was where we had our COVID test.
Huh.
And I went into the lab there where they were doing the test, and it said no food, drink, or putting on cosmetics.
Okay. Odd restrictions.
Yeah. But I wanted to. So we go to Victoria Falls next. I wanted Natalie to talk about the bridge.
All right.
Let's swap it up.
And we got a video.
Yeah, I think we're running it. Is this? Are you guys seeing monkeys and things?
Yeah. This is a monkey video.
All right, Natalie, take it away.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about the path the path and what we saw when we went to Victoria Falls Bridge. So
Go ahead.
just when we went out of our hotel, we saw 2 wild boars by a trinket shop, and then
What's the bridge?
by the immigration center, we saw monkeys. The ones that you saw in the video. They were all just scampering around and trying to get away from the humans, and they were cute and they were fun and they were very active. And then by the bridge, where the trucks are, there were a bunch of wild boars, and there were baboons climbing all over the trucks. The trucks.
How do I go to the next one, Rich?
And since
Go ahead and go to the next video, Phoebe.
Because the baboons are quite good. Give her a
And
second.
since baboons can be nasty, we tried not to mess with them when we walked by them because they were like a foot away from us.
The video looks a little shaky. Hopefully it gets a little better. But can you see the baboons all over the trucks, guys?
So when you drive in, they just jump on your truck and start
So all the
trying
trucks
to look for food or whatever.
So the immigration, it seems to be, is closed at night, right? So all these trucks are coming from Zambia to the Zimbabwe side. So they're lined up, and the drivers are sleeping in their cab or whatever, right? So we're there at 7 a.m. We had something going on that day, so we got there early. So we walked down, a couple of boars right outside the door. We walked down past the monkeys. We get our passport stamp to go to Zambia. Just 20 feet past the monkeys, the trucks are there. The baboons are climbing all over the trucks, just climbing all over the trucks. And you look between the trucks where the railroad tracks are, and the warthogs are fighting with each other. And, this is right outside of town.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell about the falls.
And when we got close to the bridge, we can see the mist coming up from the falls above the trees, and the noise it was making. It was sounding like thunder. And when we got to the bridge, there were touts,
Yeah, touts is fine.
touts, trying to sell us stuff because what are we called again?
Tourists?
because tourism was low, and it was it was getting kind of annoying, but eventually they cleared out, and we were walking along the path, and on some lookouts, because of the volume of water, you would get sprayed, and we would get wet, but it was worth it to get wet.
Yeah. So, trying to think if there's anything I want to add there. I mean, it was desolate, right? We were 3 tourists on the bridge, and it was early. There's only a few people trying to hawk stuff. They were really, really aggressive, though, because there's no tourists there, because they're just coming off the Delta spike, right? So you're Americans, and they were shocked to see us, right? So she could have her skip forward a couple.
But the other thing is you're not on like a regular tour bus, right? So I mean, these people that would be looking for people, they'd be looking for a bus to show up. But you're just a car. You're just a random.
Yeah, you just walk. You just walk from town. It's a half mile from the
where you were
the
staying.
hotels, where a number of the hotels are, to the bridge.
Yeah.
So
So you just show, but you're not part of a large group. You're just
it's just
a
it's
family.
just the four of us. Yeah.
They're pretty aggressive. You buy anything from them?
Yeah. What did we get? Yeah. Natalie, you wearing
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, there you go.
From the green market in South Africa.
Okay.
We got these 2 handmade bracelets. They're very pretty.
Copper.
Copper.
And that was from the
Touts.
what do you call them?
Touts.
That's what they called them there. Yeah, that was what they called
Yeah.
them.
But peddlers that harass it,
Peddlers, yeah.
sell the
yeah.
bubble gum and stuff. Yeah, that's actually nice. That's a pretty good souvenir for the random stuff that you got at the bridge.
Yeah, we had a good time.
That is nice.
That's
Cool.
Let's
So moving forward on the videos here.
yeah, go to there's a lot to see, but let's go to the tandem slide. So we'll do a couple bridge activities that I want to show you and we'll speak to.
Yeah,
So
go ahead. Move.
Okay. We just meant just mentioned to her to flip forward to the tandem slide. Yeah, I wonder what you're looking at now.
They're looking at a monkey.
Oh, here we go, yeah. Okay, Val, you want to come talk about this one? All right, so now we're at
I gotta fix the screen first while you're talking.
okay, activity zone. Valerie, what are we doing here?
We are doing the tandem slide, which is more like a zip line than a slide. And you go from a cliff to a corner of where the land meets the bridge. And
You're going from Zambia to Zimbabwe, really.
yeah, we're going across a river that separates 2 countries, from Zambia to Zimbabwe. And at the end of the slide, someone's supposed to catch you, but the guy who was supposed to catch me and my mother here, he didn't, and so we slid backwards, and we thought it was part of the slide. After we got off the slide, we walked under the bridge, and it was pretty. You couldn't see the falls from there, but you had a pretty good look at the gorge.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed that quite a bit. But
So how is that different than a zip line? You've been on zip lines before, right?
Yeah, I don't know how it's different.
But it's the same idea, zip line, but
Yeah.
with 2 people.
Yeah,
All right. So same question I asked you last time. What was the scariest part? Jumping off while you're in the middle of the line, or when you're getting to the end and you got to stop?
I don't know. It wasn't that scary.
That one was easy for you. No problems.
Yeah.
Dude, no big deal, man.
No big deal.
Let's
That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move forward to the
Yes,
next
keep-
video.
yeah.
You're stuck in the middle, how'd you get off?
He had to slide down and like clip onto him and then kind of crank him back with the come along type thing.
I'm going to move this over a little bit more because we lost our monitor on the stage there, so we can see it.
Rich, if you could ask her to flip to the bungee jump next.
All right, bungee. You guys went bungee jumping?
They wouldn't let
He
Valerie go.
did.
We're too young.
Okay. So this was just you, Mark?
Yeah,
While your
just
family
me.
watched? Do you
Yeah.
ever consider like what happens if this bungee jump goes wrong and my family's here watching?
All right, so the bungee jump.
He ignores that.
No, I'm gonna answer that question.
Oh, that's Will Smith.
No, this is they do this intro and then so after the intro you'll see me getting ready in about.
That is not what he did.
You don't have to use the mic. You gotta.
Oh, I have my own mic.
This is just like an intro.
So this is the video that you buy that they give you for.
Yeah, I think I should.
Yeah.
I'm kind of peeking at it, make sure I'm coming along. Yeah, there I am. And it's so funny. It's a good thing with the audio off because they had the audio from someone else's jump. So, some young lady is like, "Oh, I'm from England" or whatever. Right? So, at any rate, I did the research beforehand, and about accidents and bungee jumping because I want to be responsible. You know, I have 2 children to take care of. Okay, so most of the accidents are from a lack of communication, either English problems and the rope's not attached. Okay.
So someone just jumps and they're
So
not.
those are most of the accidents, at least in the research I did. Here they had a rope snap in like 98 or something, a long time ago. And the woman who it snapped on was able to rotate, bring it forward, land on her feet, somehow with her feet bunched up like this, swim to shore and survive. So I was ready for that in the event that it happened. But I mean, the point is, I did the research beforehand. Like before you get on that bridge, you're committed, right? You want to know what you're getting in for. You want to know what the risks are. Okay, so at this point, I've watched other people jump. Is he putting the towels on my feet?
Yeah.
All right. So they wrap your legs with these towels, and you're looking at it, and you're just like, you're gonna pull some towels really tight, and that's what's gonna keep me in here, and and so you're like, is this for real? And so, I had flip flops, so I had to go barefoot, right? And it's not like the shoe is gonna keep it on anyway.
Right.
But, yeah, maybe a little more anxious. But I was real keen on make sure the rope gets attached, right? So I'm watching them get everything on, and then. Here's my wife looking a little bit nervous. Yeah, at this point, like they have me waddle over to the side. The rope's not on. I'm like, guys, where's the rope, right? And so here they finally get it. So they clip me in. Okay, I'm fully clipped in. A number of carabiners are locked. Yeah, so you have you waddle out to the edge, right? And they were talking about what a good jump is and how you need to jump out far and
and don't just kind of like fall.
Yeah, don't be timid. You got to go for it. And so here we go.
You just fell.
And so
did you hop?
I thought I jumped, but
I've done big jumps before, and like every time I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hop, I'm gonna jump, and then I look at the video later, I'm like, I just kind of like.
Yeah, you think you
kind of
jumped.
slinked off the edge, and you're like, oh man.
So here I'm bouncing around. The reason why they have all those signs about if you're pregnant, if you have a bad back, whatever, is because you get jerked really hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So and then as you come back up, your head starts to rotate towards like that. See, and oh, here we go again. So you actually come all the way up to your vertical, like standing, as you just saw. And then this one's not quite as much. But you don't realize how much spinning you're doing. You're spinning. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Big Bend Parliament, right? And so you're spinning a lot, and then it's over. See how much you're spinning right there? It's it really jerks you. Oh, that. yeah.
That's what they get.
Oh, here's a slow motion. Let's see if you jump. No. It's hard. I'm telling you, I've done this before. I'm like, I could have sworn to God that I jumped off that thing, but you don't. You just kind of bend your knees.
So that was, you think you jumped.
You think you're doing it like a stunt man, and you're like a hop, and you look like a BA, but no.
So yeah, this is. Have her turn on. Can she turn on the audio?
Yeah. What's that?
For this one,
yeah, we got audio.
Good.
We got audio. You work that out. Make sure that computer's not muted.
There's the towels.
And we have a second forward there for Mark. Yep. Check 5 for you, Mark. Fully connected. 100% touched to the bungee cord. Good news, alright? Let's reach down to a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold your arms out. Camera pressing now. Go. Alright, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bungee.
I'm up again, going around again. Let's see around a bit. Up again, one more. Oh man, I'm really kind of frozen. Certainly some blood in my head. One more. Wow. And that's what it looks like. That's what I'm seeing. Oh boy. Oh. Ooh. You gotta shut your eyes for a second. It's gonna throw up.
It's funny how the narration stops and starts. You can tell like when you're being stressed, right?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
And then you're just hanging upside down.
No, you're just hanging out upside down. There's the bridge. And you can hear the thunder of the falls. And this guy comes down and gets me. So
So they just like ratchet you back up when you're done.
So what's next?
So when you're sitting there, just hanging upside down, you're just looking. You just.
You're spinning so much. Zambia, Zimbabwe. Zambia, Zimbabwe.
That was good.
My name's Mark.
They ask you what your name is.
They always ask what your name is to make sure they think that you're there.
Yes, that was something else. Wow.
So we can.
So out of this experience, do you think it was important that you did this at Victoria Falls, or could you have done it anywhere?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because we flew down, or we made our way down to Port Elizabeth after this, right? And the biggest bungee in the world is there, like the highest drop, okay, as of current age. And, you know, I kind of done it, right? There's something about, you could do this anywhere, but doing it in the heart of Africa, off the bridge between Zambia and Zimbabwe, with the sign right there, you know, it says entering Zimbabwe. It's just, if you're going to do the bungee and if you're going to go here, this is a nice place to do it.
So this was a check in the box. Would you bungee jump again?
I'd done it once before, but nah, I'm happy. I'm content. I'm not one of those guys that wants to bungee every weekend. No,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not me.
Oh yeah.
But I
That's
wanted
pretty
to,
cool though.
To keep things moving along. We went to the Rose of Charity orphanage. So I wanted to take my children to an orphanage, and you know, the guy working the front desk was talking, and his mother-in-law runs the place. I was like, all right, we're going. And so, can we go? And just my preliminary thoughts before Natalie gets into it. If you visit and you want to visit an orphanage, you can find orphanages. You can call ahead. For at least from what I heard from the folks that run this place, they really enjoy having visitors. The kids love to have visitors. And we went and we got a whole bunch of vitamins and chocolates and sweets and stationery, and we loaded it up on those, and we brought them with us. And for me personally, we got a little ball, right? So I played soccer my whole life, very comfortable in that environment. So we end up having sort of like a soccer game. So if y'all wanted to do this, if you're an artist and you like to paint, bring the painting supplies and create that environment that you're really comfortable in and show leadership, and the kids will follow right along. And we had an awesome time. And I wanted Natalie to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, there's more videos. Just have her play the next video.
So when we arrived, the kids were a little shy, but Daddy somehow started to get in a soccer game. So there was a big gate, and a couple of us, I think it was me and my dad and a couple of kids would stand by the gate acting as a goal. And the kids would like throw the balls, and we would try and catch it. And sometimes, well, like half the time, the balls would go over the fence and just go into the street. So some kids would just have to try and get it. And then eventually broke up, and well, we were all playing, and then the headmaster.
The head caretaker. Yeah.
Head caretaker came out with the chocolates that we bought and gave it to all the kids. And there was this one kid who was about 5 years old. Prince? His name is Prince, and he really liked piggyback rides. So I put him on my back and I carry him around and spin him around. He loved it. And I put him down, and then about a few minutes later, he went up another piggyback ride. And then the girls started to braid our hair, my mom's, my sister, and my hair, and they were just so amazed that our hair is just so smooth, unlike theirs.
So, you know, the feedback I got was the children love visitors, and just come. And
Come
of
and
course,
hang
you want
out.
to bring something. Just come.
Yeah.
You know, if you just show up with a few balloons, right? But you know, you want to like bring vitamins or something. You want to do a little something extra, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they want a little physical contact. It's very natural for a 2-year-old just to want to sit in your lap, and the feeling is very, very content, and they don't get a lot of that. So yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit, and you know, anybody going.
And you just set that up with your hotel concierge or whoever was you just asked around?
He just happened to work there at night and at the orphanage during the day, doing 2 jobs. And it was on my mind, and then it just fell on my lap. I was talking to him, we were just hanging out, having a nice time together. He's the night clerk guy. It's like midnight or something. And he tells me he works at the orphanage. I said, we want to go. But you can always just find an orphanage near to whatever remote place you're going and call ahead. Oh, yeah. What's the next one? Who's up next?
The crocodiles, where was this?
This.
This is in Hwange Safari Park, which is south of Victoria Falls. We drove there, and this is our first day. And the water you're seeing is man-made. It's called a pan. They pump water, so it'll attract animals, and you can go and see them. So we saw these crocodiles?
Crocs, yeah.
Crocodiles, and my dad is apparently scaring them away.
How are you scaring those crocodiles away, Mark?
I'm a scary guy. They you know, we got a little closer to them, and they just kind of scurried into the water after a while.
Yeah, they weren't interested in you?
No.
Well, maybe more in their environment. They might have a change of heart if I was in the water, right? But
so can you explain? This is a game reserve.
Yeah, get the background there.
It's a game reserve, so you can't do any hunting there or anything. And there's an elephant, you see. We saw a lot of animals like wildebeest, zebras, antelope, buffalo, elephants, giraffes, and more. There sometimes all the herbivores would be together drinking out of pan, and sometimes we saw carnivores.
So,
Right here is where we found some elephant bones, and my dad is carrying the skull right now, and there's bones lying in the background.
We got some of those around here.
yeah, you sure do. Million-year-old elephant bones here, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about, if you go to Vic Falls, Hwange National Park is one of the, and you're looking at some hyena cubs right on the right side of the road here. There's a little den. This is actually across from the Crocs, and there's a little den. They're living in a culvert right there. And so, anyway, this is something that's logical to combine together. You see the falls. You do the activities at the bridge. You know, you shop for trinkets, whatever. You go to the famous old Livingston Hotel, very English proper in Victoria Falls, and then you drive 2 hours south, and you stay in Hwange, either at the Hwange Safari Lodge where we stayed. It's a really nice safari lodge. It was the place back in the 70s, 80s, you know, and it took a downturn for a bit, but I guess it's back up to snuff. You can get a reasonable rate there. If you go to the private concessions within the national park, they're all like $400 a night per person. $400 per person per night, right? And it's not, there's, you know, at the Safari Lodge, there's a pan right behind there that we saw huge herds of buffalo and elephant, and I love the spot. And I looked at a lot of the private concessions in here, and they're not, I wouldn't say better.
So you just stay at the government run?
This is probably, I think it's privately run. And then right at, if you want something more rustic, there's the main camp, and you would stay there right at the entrance, right? And like everything else, this was a ghost town. Like we got the restaurant, the main camp, and they opened up the restaurant for us, and, you know, turned the generator on.
How was that eating at the restaurant? You know, they're not cooking for anybody else. They're just kind of like firing up the place for you. Was it a limited menu?
Yeah, they had
they
had the local big thing of rice and some meat for like $2.
Yeah.
And some other good dishes.
We got crocodile there. And right now you're seeing me and my friend Juliet. She is staying at, what camp was it?
This is Kennedy 1 campsite in in the game reserve, second best campsite there. You guys, I guess, are playing on a termite mound right now. And this is like instant best friend, right, Valerie?
Yes, it was.
Where'd you find this person?
We drove around to some of the campsites, like where you sleep next to the animals, but you have a little fence around your campsite, and we met some people.
I met this guy. I don't know where we were just at a pan. I liked him, and he said he was staying here. So I just showed up later. We had dinner and drinks, and the kids played together. We had the best time.
So you weren't the only guy dragging their family around Africa at this
Yeah,
time,
he's
huh?
local though. He's local. Yeah, the locals were staying at Iguacia's the best campsite. Kennedy One's the second best, right in the heart of it all. Iguacia's probably tougher to do in the wet season, but dry season, and you could get a spot there because it was COVID, because there's no one around again, and just that that age, guys. Yeah, instant best friend.
Sure.
And and we're playing, and we've just
So
seen
you can
some
just climb on
lions.
top of those termite mounds, huh?
Yeah.
You
don't really
ever
see
collapse
any.
one?
No, you don't really see any termites, and they're pretty stable, so they never really collapse on us.
Girls are so non-destructive. I feel like if you guys were boys, you'd just be knocking those things down, trying to find the animals inside, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a boy thing.
Yeah.
But have her go to the next video. I want to see if there's any other.
So this is all the same game preserve, right? Hwange.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so.
Is there audio on this? Do we want to hear this
Yeah, we
audio?
can do audio. Yeah, I think this one has
We're
audio.
gonna
Try
restart this
audio.
one and put the audio up.
I wanted to see if something was poking through the bottom, and this is what I found.
Those are the biggest thorns ever, and they're driving into my feet.
One of those things are on each foot at least. Well, let's do some plucking. Good job.
I'll take the other.
Yeah, turn sideways a little bit so you can see more. No, that way, into the sun.
You know, like everything in Africa is bigger.
First place.
Yeah.
Even the thorns are bigger.
So my
Yeah.
dad felt something poking in his foot from his shoe, and he took them off, and I tried to find what it was, and I flipped them upside down, and the bottom of the shoe is covered in these thorns.
You know, you're always wearing those cheap sandals around. I've seen you, every time we go out, you got those cheap sandals.
We're in the car right
Or
now.
the Crocs, or the orange Crocs, right? Where are the
Yes.
orange Crocs on this trip?
Ooh, I don't know if they made it.
Right now, this is about midnight since my mom heard the elephants trumpeting and we went outside to go see. There's a pan outside the hotel, and that's where the animals come, and at midnight the elephants come.
This is a monkey outside our window up on the third floor.
We threw him pears and he jumped on the window.
So this is Hwange Safari Lodge. The wildlife is right there on top of you. There's a little wooden fence. There's a little bit of a ditch, but down like twice the distance as the end of the room here, the ditch is gone, and the elephants walk right on the property sometimes. I mean, you're right there. You're
There's
in
a
it.
little pathway where animals can walk on the property, and
And what kind
Yeah.
of precautions do you have to take when you're going on a walkabout? If you're just walking around your hotel out past the ditch, do you have to
no
really
one
be
walks,
worried?
No one walks back there. Well, let me give that to you from a local perspective. Elephants are the biggest risk, especially if they're in, I think it's called musk, and they have some fluid draining from like what appears to be their ears and the side of their face. Become really aggressive. The males do, and
oh yeah, I read about that. You told me it was my job to see when elephants attacked and signs, and I read about how fluid drains into their mouth and it can make them angry.
So right in town, there's a lot of people don't have cars. Okay, this is Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, right? So they have to walk home at night. So you got to be careful. Tell her to hit pause. I'll get to this one in a second.
Okay, she'll pause it.
All right. So you got to walk home at night, and you have to worry about surprising an animal. You surprise the wrong animal, you're dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are, maybe you get a little light, but it's kind of
Making noise when you're walking back, is it that type of thing? Or?
yeah, but it goes to the territory. You're in a third world country, and it's there's gonna be a lot of people there that haven't been given a lot of opportunities growing up, and they're walking home at night from their job. I mean, there is a video here. I think we probably skipped it earlier. Between Victoria Falls downtown and the bridge, the elephants were crossing the road, and I'm driving by, and I stopped to film them for a little bit. And this is right outside of town, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. So you don't want to surprise an animal at night. Sometimes it happens.
A local told us a story where two brothers were driving around at night, and one brother got out of the car to go to the bathroom, and the other brother was playing a game, and he drove away from him, and an elephant wanted to cross the road, but he couldn't see the brother who was on the side of the road and trampled him.
So yeah, what's that called? And you're kind of like
Dumb luck. Dumb luck, right?
yeah.
It's just random.
So
You're an ant, and an elephant steps on you, right?
yeah. There was, I think, like 2 or 3 more episodes I wanted to show. Should we just keep moving it along?
Yeah,
and
we
then
can
do
watch
question
this guy.
answer the question.
Who's this guy, first of all?
Tell him to do the audio. This is me. So now let's leave Zimbabwe and fly down to Port Elizabeth. And she'll play it. Rick, you can sit down for a second.
Oh, can I stay up here?
Well, Natalie's gonna come up in a minute.
Oh, can I stay
All right.
Is it that comfortable? It's a
can stay
comfortable
there.
chair?
Yes.
All right, let's watch this video. Go ahead.
Just finished at something like Huguenots, and right next to Bruce's, me and one other guy named Keith, we had the best time together. It's normally like 30, 50 guys in the water. It's a howling storm, as you can see. Head-high waves. Jeffreys Bay, fellas. Gotta go back now, catch super tubes. Out. So, we're now down at Cape St. Francis, and y'all might have heard that surf or know about surfing is a spot called Super Tubes right there, which is
Okay.
like top 5 right-hand point breaks in the world. Okay, so it was a stormy day. I give myself 2 days, like a day and a half, to get it right, and so it wasn't any good at Super Tubes. So we drove out to Cape St. Francis, where, and this is, I'll pause my story for a second. This is Super Tubes the next morning, and I'm on a ride, and I hop off. So that was like my wife filming with the iPhone or something, right?
Yeah.
So I rode Super Tubes. But to get back to, what was I gonna say about Cape St. Francis? So, did y'all see the movie The Endless Summer?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you know when they get the perfect wave? So the perfect wave is at Cape St. Francis, just tucked in right around the corner, and now they call it Bruce's, okay? So there used to be sand dunes there, and the wind would blow the sand onto the ocean, it would fill in the rocks, and you'd have this long right-hand point break, and it was the perfect wave, at least on that day. So it's not breaking in town, it's a bad storm, but we'd been out here earlier, me and the kids and the wife, and I saw that spot, and it was breaking. So I gathered everything, I dropped the kids off at noon, this is my chance. I somehow find a board to rent, and I get out there, and there's one other guy out, his name's Keith, a little bit older than me, and instant best friend, right? He was gonna go in, but he had to stay, right? So we spent 2 hours surfing together, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't just leave me out there, We had the greatest time, just me and him, taking turns, and it's called Hulitz Reef. And it's right next to Bruce's. And he said he's been surfing there since 1982, and he's seen the Bruce's spot good once.
Huh.
It's over, man. So on the shore, where the sand dunes used to be, they filled it in with all this imported beach erosion type vegetation from India or who knows where, right? And so you don't have the dunes anymore, and it's just changed the wave. So, but I had a wonderful time there in the storm. And then I drove into Jeffreys Bay. I was having a difficult time. It was the longest board I've ever ridden. And so when I went for the drop, I would be angled a little bit and would push the back of the board up, right? So the board would be like that.
Here, I'll take that mic.
And I was having some difficulty. And so finally it's dark and I decide, you know what, I'm going for it. Right, I gotta get one for everyone's in. It's just me. There's been a shark attack at this spot before too. I'm like, oh, I'm staying out. So I drop in. I angled a little more straight into the wave instead of angling it a little bit in this awkward long board. And so I pulled on the rail and just pulled myself into it. And there was still just enough light on that wave I could see its section in front of me. I jumped off. But when I first got out there at Super 2, I was a little intimidated because there's a little channel that's about from me to you that you have to find in the rocks to get out. And if you don't find the channel, you end up just getting rolled through the reef for half a mile. And so, by the time I got out, I hit my head in the reef a couple times. I mean, it was rough. But it was, I think every surfer dreams of surfing Super Tubes.
Yeah.
So I got one, like it was pretty much dark, and the next morning I did.
And how big? You said it was head high when you went there?
Yeah, it was like chest to maybe head. The other spot was breaking head high. So anyway, I had like, that was my part of the trip.
That was what you did for you. The bungee jumping wasn't for you? I feel like the bungee jumping trip was for you too.
Yeah, but this is what I was thinking. But this was like kind of like, I'm going to be in Africa, doing a lot for the kids. This one's for me.
Nice.
Worth it? Yeah. I was. Yeah, it was. I had a good time. But I wanted before we run. Are we running out of time?
We're getting there, but go ahead, keep going.
Natalie, come on up. I think there's one more thing I wanted to cover. Natalie, come on.
Here, you want a mic?
Grab the mic.
There you go, Natalie.
Yeah, talk about Musenberg.
So, as you can see here, we're playing soccer with a bunch of kids. Yeah. And where's this? Musenberg. So how it started out is we were in Musenberg and we wanted to explore the area. So we walked around and we found a park. Valerie and I were playing in the playground, and Daddy started playing with soccer with these two boys. I joined and Valerie joined, and there was an older sister and the mom. The older sister was the goalie. I don't know who's the goalie in the other team, but it was like girls against boys. Then a bunch of other boys came and started playing, and then like one or two more, and it became a whole big game with different genders, races, and ages, and it was very fun.
Yeah, I'd say so. You can see us all playing. So I showed up. I saw these two little Indian kids that were like 6 and 8 or 10, and their moms. And I played soccer in college, right? It's a very, very comfortable environment for me. I wanted to play. So I show up and I'm like, hey, I want to play. So we have a good time. Then my kids show up. And then the vibe is right that these other like teenagers that, black, mixed, white, they want to play too. So we have the Rainbow Nation soccer game going on. Everybody's having the best time. The good players may play well for a while, and then they pass it over to, one of the moms or something to try and give them a chance to score. And it was just kind of...
This is a big family game, though.
It was just a big family game, I had quite a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And that's, you got to put yourself... If you feel comfortable in yourself and you're, and if you have this mechanism that you're very comfortable in, like soccer for me and other people, maybe other things, it's easy to just be like, hey, let's all play. When we play at the park, there'll be some kids will see us from across the field, and they'll just see me playing with my kids, and they'll come running over it, and they know they can fit and they can play. You just know.
Right.
And so that was like the last day of the trip, more or less.
It's a good cap. That's a good end to it all, right?
Nice,
Playing some soccer with some locals. So,
I threw in other random clips like at the end to just let the video keep going. So there's a penguin colony around the corner. Look how cute those guys are. So we stayed right there. Like if you turn around and look the other way, we're staying at that. This is just outside Cape Town. And it's Boulders Beach Penguin Colony. So yeah, a couple of the videos may pop up of random stuff that I was like, oh hey, yeah, if someone wants to plan a trip, this would plant the seed. The boat cruise. Rich passed Natalie the mic.
We did a sunset boat cruise, and it was a double-decker bus. And at the end, it was a woman's birthday, and so we had some African music on, and we were all dancing at the end, and it was really fun.
Where is this?
This is on Upper Zambezi River, and we saw some hippos and crocodiles on this path.
So we're
trip.
whooping it up just above the fall. As long as the engine doesn't fail, we're in good shape.
So they do like station keep, so you don't. So they're just kind of like cruising above the falls like that.
Cruising above. Yeah, I mean it's you're still like you don't think you get more than half a mile close to the falls.
I learned an interesting fact about hippos on this cruise, and it's that if you're fishing and you have a clear spot on the water, don't go there, go in the bushes, because the hippos, they go the same route to the water every time, and they clear the bushes away, and if they see you in their path, they're gonna attack.
Huh.
Just something to keep in mind when you guys go.
So what we like to do at the end here, I want you guys to stay up here because we do a little Q&A session. We're going to pass the mic around. We got another mic right there. Lance has got it, and he's going to pass around for any questions. And we'll just kind of let these videos roll. Well, this is a picture of you guys in Cape Town, right?
Yeah. You need to let things roll.
Yeah.
Do
we have a question?
Yeah, I'll start. I was in South Africa. I was in about 2015. I was in East London and right on the beach, and it's a really nice beach out there. And then I was going to go walk down along the beach and watch the surf. And I was instructed by the group I was with. They go, no, you do not go down there because of the safety issues. And there's certain times of the day. And it was just because of the safety issues in South Africa were something that I was really made aware of, being a foreign, especially a white foreigner in South Africa. And I was just curious what you ran into with that on your trip.
A good question. So in Zimbabwe, no issue, right? The relations there are 30 years ahead of the United States, according to locals. Okay, any sort of racial and relations there. Okay, the view there is the majority of the population has suffered underneath the current regime. Okay, so they've all suffered equally, right? South Africa, a little bit different story. I'd been to Cape Town before, and I was pretty confident about where I was going there and what we were going to do. I'll just say this, that the soccer game we saw, we're having the greatest time. This one kid would score, and he danced, and he was like 16, and we liked each other. Yeah, and so we're all kind of kicking it at the end there, having a nice chat. And he's like, he asked me if I'd been to any colored places. I said no. And he just gave me a list of places not to go. That was kind of his parting message. So it's kind of like, hey man, I see you're a little bit free-spirited, and you and your kids are out here having a good time, and you and I are buds, and just protect yourself, don't go over here. But again, you saw the soccer game, like, you just
Rainbow Nation.
You stay out of certain areas in Los Angeles at night, and you should be okay.
So I used to be an avid diver. It's been a few years, and working and stuff like that. But clearly, you've been in the water plenty, surfing, snorkeling. How were the water conditions in Cape Town? How are things over there?
So this time of year in Cape Town, it's a little bit warmer now. This was their August is their winter, just because the wind direction. It's really cold on that side of the coast, right? So the winds, I guess, are blowing from the north down. So it was like 10 degrees Celsius instead of 8, okay? So instead of 50, it was 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the water rather than 46. So it's pretty cold.
So you guys wearing 5 to 7s or something like that?
I was in a brand new 4.3, right? So, and I had a hoodie. I bought a hoodie there, and I had booties. And I was comfortable. It was a brand new 4.3 millimeter wetsuit, so it was brand new. That's why I was pretty comfortable. Okay. And the guys were all real friendly. I surfed Long Beach in Cape Town. I surfed. I came across this one where I couldn't find a good spot, and I saw this place that was pumping, and it was scary, and it was like double overhead. It was Outer Komaki, which is down by Long Beach, so a little bit south of Cape Town. And the locals were real friendly, real happy with the waves and the crowd. I couldn't say anything better of the local surfers. I was happy there.
And I don't know if you did any, like scuba or anything like that while you were there. How hard was it for you to get like a guide out for snorkel or something like that? I know in like the Yucatan, it's like anyone will take you. It's real easy to get a relatively cheap dive. I don't know how it is in Cape Town.
Ooh, it's pretty popular, some sort of seal and shark related activities in and around Cape Town. So I'm sure that they can equip you, right? There's so many places offering that water type activity that if you want to dive somewhere, you'll be able to get everything you need in Cape Town. I think you'll have a little more trouble in some place like Port Elizabeth, right? But Cape Town, that vibe you get with we got a certified climbing guide in short notice. We had the seal snorkeling short notice. Maybe I actually worked on that for months, but anyway, it's Adventure City. You'll get what you want there. You'll be able to dive there.
Very cool. Thank you.
Very cool.
Other questions?
How old were you?
I was 10 at the time.
You were 13?
Yeah.
10 and 13.
Yeah, I want to share it with them, at that age. That was...
Well, folks, that's how you do a family vacation, right? That's a pretty cool family vacation if I've ever seen one. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Natalie. We appreciate you guys coming. All right. Thank you all for watching online, and we'll see you guys next week at the Adventurers Club of Los Angeles.
All right. Thank you.
Look at that parting picture.
Passed out.
Let's have the girls point to South Africa.
Yeah, so what we do, we have the certificate.
Natalie.
Where'd Jeff Holmes go?
Natalie.
Yeah, where'd we go, Valerie? Show where we went.